Hello and welcome back to our tutorial series. On this episode, we're going to edit a studio shot that has some really interesting lighting, but maybe not well executed lighting. In fact, I think on this episode, we're going to do a lot of work to this picture. So if I go really fast, I'm sorry. I guess you should just go back and watch a second time. This picture was taken by a photographer named Gizzy. He used a Nikon D3000 and a Sigma 70-200 2.8 lens. So let's jump straight in here with a crop. I'm finding the bow on the top of her outfit to be a little distracting. In fact, we might go up just enough that we cut out the far edge as well. And of course, I like working in camera standard because I know how that behaves. So color balance, color temperature, we need to address that immediately. It's way too warm, so let's just crank it down. Okay, full down is far too much, but if we go up, that's actually not bad. It's a little bit too green though, so maybe we can grab tint and raise it up a couple clicks. Now her skin has a nice rosy tint to it. Let's start working on kind of the basic stuff. We'll maybe put exposure there. You guys know that I love contrasty pictures, so we will go up to there maybe. Her skin is light, but it's looking a little flat. If you raise highlights, you'll add a little bit more punch to that. Shadows could probably go up. Her hairline and other areas are a little bit dark. Clarity, I think, is often a nice thing to do with these kind of glamour shots, but you don't want to overdo it. I'm thinking vibrance could be punched up quite a bit. In fact, I think that's looking pretty strong for some opening edits. Let's jump down here to details. I'm just going to do 50-50 because you know it's usually pretty accurate and we don't have time to really mess around with small details. Lens correction. So with this kind of a lens, if it's shot wide open, you're going to have a vignette. So turning that on is going to take care of some of that artifact. And also with this particular picture, we definitely want to turn on the chromatic aberration removal because these pearls have a lot of green fringing. So we will actually raise up green fringing all the way, and that's looking pretty good. We've still got some kind of blue cast in here. So maybe what we'll do is grab a brush. If you double click on effect, it'll reset everything, and then you can pick just the thing you want, making sure your flow is turned up so that you can get a good result on your first pass. And I don't know how well this comes across through YouTube. It's a subtle effect, but it's taking care of a lot of that bluish rim that we have around the pearls. In fact, I'm even going to do a quick pass down the black strap here. It's got a little bit of that too. This is caused by essentially the prismatic effect of lenses. The red, green, blue colors that we kind of think of in the digital world get separated, and when they hit the red, green, blue sensor sites in your camera, they show up in different areas. So we'll call that good for now. In fact, while we had brushes open, maybe we should start working on some brush things. We'll make a new one, double click effect. I'm thinking her hair is looking a little bit too green. We'll maybe add a little bit of yellow to make her redness a little bit more obvious. Maybe raise up the tint to get rid of that green. Again, this is probably an artifact of the lights that were used. Be careful just to get the hair itself and not anything else. I think actually might even raise up a little bit shadows and highlights to make it look even more natural. All right, a new brush, double click effect. Let's start working on the eyes. I like eyes to really pop, so maybe we'll add a whole half exposure to that. Let's maybe go up with contrast. And these are kind of the things I would normally do. The highlights inside the eyes, maybe could use a little bit more attention. I always like clarity. Let's actually go crazy with clarity on that. Maybe even some saturation because she's got these beautiful blue eyes. And we will come in here and paint along her eyes, make them stand out and look extra awesome. In fact, let's go crazy with sharpness. This picture was taken at ISO 100, so we can get away with using quite a bit of sharpness and then maybe just a little bit of noise so that it doesn't look too crazy. So those eyes are definitely drawing your attention at this point. What would happen if we painted over the lips? Yeah, that's not bad. Although I think maybe what we could do is add a whole new brush, maybe just dealing with saturation for her lips. Let's make that lipstick look extra vibrant. All right, that's looking pretty good. So we've done hair, we've done the eyes, we've done the lips, we've done the beads. What else could this picture use? I'm actually thinking that her neck and skin of her face are a little bit too equal in terms of lighting. I want your attention to really come up here, not be so distracted down there. So let's maybe go crazy with a big, wide neutral density filter, or a graduated filter, sorry. We will reset the effect. Maybe we'll come in here and drop it a full stop, something like that. Let's maybe drop down the highlights, as we were saying earlier, that her neck is fairly bright. I'm kind of worried about the shadows along these beads. Let's see what contrast does. That looks pretty darn good. Let's just go all the way up. Yeah, it kind of flattens it out and actually kind of does what clarity does. Let's see if adding clarity. That looks pretty good. In fact, let's even go a little bit darker with the exposure. A subtle effect, but now the beads aren't as distracting. You're really drawn to look at her face. That is actually already looking super nice. I think one kind of crazy thing we could try, if we come in here with the brush and drop our exposure, we're going to do a little bit of burning. That's what you'd call it in photography world. Let's maybe drop the flow down. And what we are going to do is make our brush kind of small, but we are going to accent some of the features of her face just by drawing a little bit of attention to them with shadow. So like her nose, is kind of blending in with the rest of her cheek here and her upper lip. So by adding a little bit of darkness around the edge, it gives it a little bit more definition. And I don't even know if this is going to come across with YouTube compression and whatever settings you might choose to be using to watch it, but it's a very subtle effect, but it gives her face more dimension. It really draws your eye to these stronger lines in her cheek. Here we've got to try to get her jaw and chin to be separate from those beads. We might do a little bit here along her eyes, kind of make that eyeshadow have more of an effect. Where else would be a good place for it? Do a little bit here on the other cheek. That one might not work as well as the first one. But yeah, having this kind of really subtle burning makes her face really have more dimensions. So that's looking pretty darn good as it is. Let's do a quick before and after. Oh, I forgot how bad that was at the beginning. All right. I'm thinking we could stop right there if we wanted, but with the glamour nature of this photo, I'm thinking we could get away with a black and white. I think it could be pretty awesome. So let's try doing the black and white conversion and see what Adobe gives us. All right, I actually like that quite a bit. If I was going to change anything, maybe I would come in here, raise brightness maybe a little bit, maybe raise sharpening to draw more attention to her eyes. I might even come in here with a really subtle vignette and do something like that. Now that's looking very glamorous. You get all of that attention drawn to the eyes and the catch lights. And again, here's the before and the after. So hope you like what you saw and stay tuned for another episode next Friday.